Thank you, Raf, and good night to all shareholders. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the historical trends and where we're at as a company and what we need to do to move forward, because we're really at a crossroads in terms of some of the market pressures that the company has been facing and its performance, and we need to position the company going forward, particularly over the next 2 years, to be in the space that it needs to be to compete. So that's what my presentation is about tonight. I am the chairman of our executive committee, and you'll see how that fits into the structure. And so it is my role to lead the team and lead this charge. It's a fast-paced market, which, as you can imagine, has been evolving over the last 5 to 10 years. There it is. Technology has also been evolving, and customers, as the world has become more globalized, are demanding more. The customers are more educated, they expect more, they expect better prices, they expect faster speed. The competition has come both from within Belize and outside of Belize. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in my presentation, from international players like Viber and WhatsApp and so on and so forth. So BTL is profitable and relevant today, but in order to stay that way, we have to transform the company, and that is what my presentation is really about. The steps that we have been taking to do so, and the steps that we are going to take, particularly over the next 2 years, to effect that transformation. And in the medium term, we're looking at increasing some of the investment we're doing within the company, repositioning some of the products and service offerings, refreshing the brand and market presence, and growing our market share, which is absolutely critical. As the market has expanded over the last 10 years, we've seen other players, such as what I just spoke about, the onshore and offshore players, come in and take a piece of that market. And we now need to put ourselves in a position to take back some of that market share and actually take it back. So that's what my presentation is going to be about. If you look at the company's financials and the trajectory in terms of revenue there, you can see that the revenue has been on a slightly downward trajectory, about 1% per year. We had in financial year 2010 a spike in revenue, which was due to a tax windfall when the government repealed the tax on internet, and we were able to put some taxes that had been accrued into revenue. So that is what that is about. And you can look at the operational expenditures, which have been going in the opposite direction, about 1% per year in terms of increasing. So that is showing the trajectory of what things have been. And there are reasons for this. It's not because of poor management of the company or any boogeyman like that. It's a matter of the market, it's a matter of what I said before, customers expecting more, us giving them more, and also players in the market. But it does not mean that there are not things that we can do to help reverse that trend, and that is exactly what we plan to do. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that shortly. In terms of net income, again, you can see that it has been varied in the last 5 years. When the government took over the company in 2008, in 2009, the previous year, 2008, it was slightly below $20 million. Right now, we are in about the same position, but that is after having done so much. Per second billing, opening up of void, the reduction of internet rates. We're going to do another doubling up in October, which is to the tune of maybe 100% reduction, double. And we've done that 2 other times. And this is not because we're trying to give away the company's money, but this is what is being demanded by the marketplace. So as such, we have to evolve our strategy to keep up with this. Otherwise, we will be left behind. In terms of operational expenses, this is what our expenses look like. We have been able to hold down a lot of the expenses over the last 5 years, and we plan on instituting specific things over the next 2 years, both as it relates to the general admin expenses, electricity, and the maintenance expenses. A large part of our expenses are taken up by maintenance contracts for different software products, so on and so forth. And in this budgeting cycle, we're looking at how we can reduce that and better that, as that is also critical. In terms of electricity, that was important to be broken out because you can see for a company to be spending 8% of their cost on electricity is quite high. And we believe that we can better that by 1% or more, and we're looking at how we can do that in terms of efficient lighting, efficient power consumption, and the like. In terms of the competitive landscape, if you look at this slide, it's really looking at some of our competitors, and at the bottom of the slide is particularly important because it's breaking out most of our revenue centers. So landlines represent about 22% of our revenue. Our mobile market represents 38%. Broadband represents 18%. And international voice and SMS represents 17%. That used to be a very lucrative part of the company's portfolio, but it has been eroded quite naturally by the market pressures. With the international players, particularly such as Viber and Skype and FaceTime and Tango and Talk and Coma and Yahoo and you name it, it's there. And that has had a real effect on where the company is and what it can do. Locally, we've had 20 to 30 ISP providers that have come about over the last 10 years. We have our competitors, SpeedNet and Smart. So there have been pressures coming from all around, and so we need to adapt the company in order to continue to move forward and meet these competitors and this competitive landscape in a more aggressive way. And that's what we're preparing to do over the next 2 years. In terms of international long distance and communication, specifically, you can see how drastic the decline has been from 2004 to 2013. We went from $12 million to $2 million over what would be a 9-year period. So that is a significant reduction in terms of a very profitable service, and something that could not have been avoided to a large extent. Although in the past the former owners had tried to not allow that erosion to occur by holding the country hostage, we have taken a different approach and decided to work with the customer, give them that value, and work with the market because it is almost inevitable, and adjust our strategy around that inevitability. And I'll talk about the strategy adjustment in the second half of my presentation. In terms of the financial trajectory, if we sit down and we do nothing, and we don't make the investments that we need to make, and we don't make the cultural changes that we need to make at the company, this is what it looks like. By 2018, thereabouts, we'll be looking at $11 or $12 million in profits if we just sit back and do nothing. However, as a responsible board and a responsible management team, we have to seek to reverse that, and we have a plan in place because we're not about sitting back and doing nothing. We have been very active, and I'll tell you about how we've been preparing and how we've been executing on our plans to change that trajectory. So in terms of strategic initiatives, we have been looking at 4 main pillars, and this slide is very important. First, we're going to be concentrating on driving our broadband connectivity. And what that means is basically giving people high-speed internet in their homes and on their mobile phones. That has been and is the largest area of opportunity for BTL and for us to create value for you, the shareholders. That is absolutely important and absolutely key. And we plan to double our broadband customer base within the next 2 to 3 years. That is going to represent about $6 million in additional revenues. So that is going to represent a $6 million increase in the top line of our company. Our second important area of focus is expanding our mobile market share. Our competitor, which has evolved over the last 10 years, has taken a portion of that market share, and we intend to take back a portion of that market share and add about 10,000 customers over the next 2 years to our mobile subscriber base, which should represent about $7 million in top-line revenue. So between those two initiatives, you're looking at about $13 million in additional revenue. We've also this year gone through an exercise where we have looked at the products and services that the company offers. Because the company offers a wide range of products and services, too wide in fact, which kind of hurts or dilutes the potency of those products and services. And so we really have to look at repositioning that. We have over 800 different products and services, which is way beyond where we should be for this size of company and in this market. We're looking to consolidate that to under 300, which would bring it in line to where it should be and allow us to focus on those products and services and do some innovative and creative things. The fourth and final thing we'll be looking to do is diversify into new business opportunities. So we have a certain amount of cash that we're sitting on, and we'll be looking for other business opportunities, particularly in real estate, so on and so forth. So those are our tenets as to how we're going to move the company forward and on what basis. And I'll talk a little bit more about the investment that will take. In terms of that process, we went through the product and service repositioning or rationalization exercise, if you want to call it. We also looked at the structure of the company, because in order for us to effect that strategy, we needed to make sure that we had the people in place and we had the proper structure as to be able to execute that strategy. So previously, we had a board of directors, we had an executive chairman, Mr. Vasquez, we had a chief operations officer, a CFO, and we had 9 heads of departments that were reporting to them. We've consolidated that into a new structure, which you can see is much cleaner. With the board of directors, we have an executive committee with 4 members. That is myself. Mr. Vasquez is also on that committee, Dr. Colin Young, and Ambrose Philip. And we now have 6 direct reports to our committee, 6 chiefs. Chief Finance Officer, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer, Chief Technical Officer, Chief Customer Service Officer, Chief Strategy Officer, and Chief Information Officer. So that has served to allow information to better flow up to us and better flow down, and for us to work with a smaller team which we can work more cohesively with to implement the strategies that I have spoken about. We've also, in terms of that consolidation, moved certain departments closer together to allow for better accountability. So if we had a particular project and a particular initiative, and we need to hold people accountable for that project or that initiative, before it was so widely spread that we would have to hold multiple people accountable, and then people are able to pass the ball to one another, and it's very hard to hold them accountable. Under the new structure, we have 6 direct reports who we are able to hold accountable and drive the performance and the results forward. So that's a little bit about what the new structure is designed to do. And it's important for you to know that as shareholders so that you're aware of the direction in which we are moving. In terms of the management plan, as I said before, we're looking at doubling our broadband customer base over the next 3 years, which should result in a $6 million increase in revenue. We want to increase our mobile market share by 10,000 subs or subscribers over the next 2 years, and that should give us a $7 million boost in revenue. And that will allow us to return the company to a $20+ million a year net income after this 2-year transformation exercise. It means that in the short term, we are going to have to increase our capital expenditures by, we're estimating at this time, 50% to over $45 million. So we usually spend an average of $30 million. As Mr. Vasquez said, we spent 37 last fiscal year, and we're looking to increase that to 45 million. We're going to be, over each year, we're going to be investing another 30 million in upgrading our fiber plant, our fiber and plant infrastructure, and that really speaks to the high-speed internet initiative because everybody wants internet, and we need to make sure that we have a plant that can deliver that internet, because those are some of the constraints that we face in getting people internet in a timely way and getting them the speeds that they want and that they are demanding. We're also going to be investing maybe $25 million in expanding our mobile market share, and we're going to be using the rest of the money in ancillary investments, our billing system, expansion of our network core, digital presence, so on and so forth. In the near term, our net income is anticipated to be reduced given those investments. We have to spend additional money on marketing, consultancy, reduce effective prices, rates due to product rationalization, so on and so forth. But that downturn in net income will be offset by the increases in subscriber base and product take-up as we move along and effect the plan, which is very, very important. So this is about positioning the company in a place to take advantage of the market. But to do that, there has to be some investment and there has to be some movement. And so that is what this is about. If you look at the dividend that is going to be proposed tonight, it is 60% of last fiscal year's profits. And if it is approved, you are going to receive a 4.8% return on your $5 investment, if that is what you bought in at. That will be 24 cents. 24 cents divided by $5 is 4.8%. For reference, last fiscal year, you received 0.2% higher, which is 5% on your investment. Net income over the medium term, as outlined by the plan, is going to be focused on hard investments, which will add value to the company and which will position BTL to remain the most technologically advanced provider in the Middle East. And just for reference, that 4.8% which is being proposed, if you took your money to the bank, the latest figures from the central bank put the average deposit rate at 1.77%, so that is about double or over double what you would receive placing your money in the bank. Additionally, that is the cash payout, but the dividend represents about maybe 7.5 around there %. So the difference is being accrued to the company in terms of your equity and the value of your shares. So BTL is still the best investment around town and will continue to be the best investment around town. And that is what we are going to ensure. So my last and final slide, just to wrap up my presentation, is looking at the key pillars over the next 2 years particularly. In 2013, we had expanded the 4G network, expanded our broadband plan, and marginally we had increased our mobile base. 2014, we're optimizing that network. We're doubling broadband speeds, as the chairman had mentioned in his presentation in October and the Prime Minister had announced. And we're beginning to reposition our brand, and we have reorganized the company as of July 1st. In 2015, we're looking to improve coverage and capacity, expand our broadband reach and quality, and accelerate our mobile repositioning, which means more creative products and services, new products and services, better consolidation of our existing products and services. And in 2016, we're looking to introduce even faster speeds with LTE. You'll be seeing a 50% increase by that time in our broadband base, and by 2017, 100% increase, which is a double, and a 15% uplift in mobile revenues, which is the $7 million I spoke about. So I want to thank you for your time. I hope the presentation has been helpful and will highlight where we are going. And I wish you the best for the rest of the meeting.